you want to hear what my biggest fear was as a new parent? My biggest fear was that I was going to approach my children from such a behavior standpoint, because I would get so wrapped up in what others were telling me to do and how to do it, that I wouldn't approach challenging behaviors from a mental health standpoint, and I wouldn't build them up from within into adults with the capacity to face challenges and adversity with resiliency and strength, and that we wouldn't keep that connection throughout their lifespan. When my children were really young, I noticed that whenever I wanted to research how to handle some of their challenging behavior in a more superficial research, like a Google search or looking through social media, I was often inundated with information that was all about approaching the behavior from an extrinsic standpoint. What does that mean? That meant that a lot of the information was telling me how to deal with that specific behavior, sleep problems, eating problems, sibling fights, tantrums, with things like rewards, things like punishments, and rewards and punishments also hidden in fun activities like praise jars or caught you in the positive act moments, things that I didn't necessarily register as rewards and punishments, but were still on the extrinsic motivator. And my mental health training taught me that to build my kids up from within, I had to build up the intrinsic motivation piece. I had to help them build the desire to support themselves and to support others from within, not because they wanted to get something out of it and not because they wanted to avoid a punishment. So I really built camp for both that personal reason and that professional reason, because I wanted other parents to also have a tool that helped them deal with challenging behavior from a mental health perspective, from building their kids up from within and maintaining that positive relationship with them through the lifespan. I thought of intrinsic motivation similar to that plant. So extrinsic motivation is always dealing with just the leaves that have died on the plant, clipping them off. Intrinsic motivation is jumping into the roots. And if we jump into the roots, then there are our basic belonging needs that we can continue to address. I relate this to first aid. First aid starts with you, the attendant, doing your scene survey, making sure that you're safe to show up on the scene. Camp starts with C for Calm and Connect. That's all about you doing your scene survey, making sure that you feel confident, that you feel safe showing up on the scene in a regulated way for your children. The next step of physical first aid is those ABCs, really our basic life-keeping aspects of our body. Airway, breathing, circulation. The second step of camp is the same thing. Our basics that are keeping us going, except they are our needs, our core belonging needs. And in A, we learn how to assess these in our kids and how to support them and how to make sustainable behavior change by tackling these three belonging needs. Then we move in our first aid physical approach to dealing with the specifics of the injury. Same thing goes with camp. In our M and our P, we move into the specifics of the behavior and put interventions specific to that behavior, because now we've already addressed the core belonging needs. The approaches that scared me when I had my own children jumped right to the M and P of camp. They were all about dealing with the specifics of the behavior, and my mental health training kept kind of talking to me in the back of my head and saying, well, you're not dealing with the core needs, you're not dealing with what is going on behind the behavior. And that's where camp is different. And it's also different because it does it in such a step-by-step approach that is easy to remember, like your physical first aid. So when you're in a dysregulating moment because your child is having a huge meltdown and that feels triggering to you, Similar to when you walk onto an injury scene with your child, which can be very dysregulating, first aid grounds you with the step-by-step approach. Camp grounds you with the step-by-step approach on how to handle that behavior. So one of the common questions that parents ask me about camp is, what specific behaviors can it help me with? And the answer is any and all of the behaviors. So we start using it in the early years to help with everything from potty challenges, sleep challenges, defiance challenges, not wanting to hear the words no, to moving into the school years when we have separation anxieties, friendship challenges, bullying. Over these years, we show and prove to our kids that we don't see them as the problem. We recognize that as human beings, we face challenges all the time, and we will continue to face challenges that trigger us throughout our lifespan. We are showing them that we will always be on their team against those challenges. We're not going to just try and stop their reaction to the challenge. We're going to help them learn to recognize what's going on for them when the challenge occurs, so that they can either address it themselves and have the resiliency to do so, or be able to ask for help in a way that makes those that they've asked ready and able to help them when it is something outside of their scope. So as we move into the teen years, this strong foundation will be laid where your teens will be able to recognize when they face challenges around peer pressures, around substances, around everything and anything that we don't yet understand because of how quickly the world is changing. They will have the resiliency and the understanding to assess why things are so triggering for them, whether or not they can cope with them using the tools that you have instilled in them through camp. And then when it is beyond their scope, you will be the people that they turn to, because they know when they come to you, it will not they will not be approached from a place of shame or punishment. They will be approached from yes, here's another thing that is a challenge outside of you, and we will work with you on how to deal with that challenge. You have shown them that you will forever see behavior as a white flag for needing support with the needs behind the scenes. That is going to create this beautiful relationship that will move into the adult years, supporting mental health across the lifespan. Us versus the challenge, our running mantra of camp. So what do you get in the camp subscription, and why is it a subscription? Well, it's a subscription because we know that you are busy parents. I am in that boat too, and you want to be able to access material at your own pace, whether that means do it really quickly all at once and then cancel your subscription, or go through it at your own pace. What do you get in the subscription? In the subscription, you have access to all the educational material of camp. So it works through each letter, our C, our A, our M, and our P. This is done through multiple really short bite-sized videos, an interactive journal. You can do this just through audio, which is my preferred learning style, or through downloadable worksheets, which is the preferred learning style of many of the people that helped me develop this subscription package. And if that educational material alone is not enough for you, we have our community room where you can ask questions all the time at any point of the day if you are the type of parent that is doing this at 5 in the morning or the middle of the night. And I am present in that community room responding, as well as other coaches. You'll meet other like-minded parents and professionals within that space, also asking and responding to questions. And once you're in the subscription, you are able to purchase one-to-one sessions with me if that's something that you need. You're also able to purchase our kids book. It's the only place where you can buy it. You can get a hard copy or a downloadable copy of our manual, and for a discounted rate, you can access our monthly live workshops where we talk about a specific scenario or specific behaviors every month, and it's either me presenting or another guest speaker. I'm really excited to meet you on the inside. I hope this is something that will help you and feel relevant in your parenting journey as much as it does in mine.